is Bishop Clayton Endecott, our General Presbyter for Europe and other parts of the world, but also our National Overseer for Ukraine. So welcome, Bishop Endecott, and please greet our audience.
Thank you. I greet all of you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. What an honor it is to be invited to your meeting today.
Les saludo en el nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Qué honor es compartir con ustedes. Bishop Endecott, we have two questions for you.
Okay.
I know that you have a meeting coming up with the Ukraine saints, and el pastor Clayton se estará reuniendo con los hermanos de Ucrania. Inmediatamente salga de esta reunión virtualmente, y tenemos dos preguntas para él. First question is, how are our people, our churches, our members doing in Ukraine today? La primera pregunta es, ¿cómo está nuestra gente, los miembros de la Iglesia de Dios de la Profecía y las iglesias de Dios de la Profecía en Ucrania?
Most of the bad news you're seeing on the news, so I'll start with the good news.
Quiero comenzar con las buenas noticias primero.
We have none of our churches who have been hit, and as well as I know, none of our people have been put into harm.
Ninguna de nuestras iglesias ni ninguna de nuestros miembros han estado en peligro, no han sido golpeadas, no han recibido impactos hasta este momento.
I know of one distant relative who was wounded in the war. They patched him up and sent him back to the front line. Other than that, our pastors, our saints, our churches are for this moment safe.
Sé de una persona que fue herida, lo vendaron y volvió otra vez a estar activo. Nuestros pastores y miembros están bien.
Every few minutes, I receive a registry from one of the pastors or leaders throughout the last 7 days requesting immediate prayer.
Muy frecuentemente, cada ciertos minutos, recibo algún texto pidiendo oración inmediata.
Multiple times, soldiers and armored cars have been coming into the cities, headed directly towards them with heavy alarms, and they were called all to their basements, cellars, and shelters.
En múltiples ocasiones, estos pedidos por oración son de hermanos que ven los tanques, los vehículos venir hacia arriba de ellos. Ellos corren a sus lugares de refugio en búnkers.
Warnings came of immediate assault.
Vienen las advertencias inmediatas de peligro.
But to this day, in every case, as we called the saints for prayer, for some reason, they did not pursue that street.
Pero hasta este momento, cada vez que los hermanos han estado en peligro inminente, no ha sucedido nada para la gloria de Dios. Eso es hasta este momento.
Currently, with the rebuild of the work there, we have brought 20 churches into the Church of God of Prophecy with about 1,000 members, a little more actually.
A partir de la reestructuración de nuestra iglesia en Ucrania, tenemos 20 iglesias y más de 1,000 miembros.
And they are located north, south, east, and west.
Ellos están ubicados al norte, sur, este y oeste.
A couple of points that you hear again and again. Of course, Kiev. We have a few churches in Kiev and in that region.
En algunas partes, mayormente en el área de Kiev, tenemos varios hermanos y
For a
congregaciones.
number of days, they've had convoys headed into Kiev because they've been unable to take the city.
Por muchos días han estado rodeados porque la ciudad de Kiev realmente no ha sido tomada.
And to this day, they have not taken the city. Our brothers and sisters are still in bunkers, but they are safe.
Todavía, hasta estos momentos, nuestros hermanos están a salvo y están escondidos en búnkers.
The membership of the churches from ages 18 to 60 as men are not allowed to leave the country without special exception.
Desde los 18 a los 60 años, los hombres no se les permite salir del país.
But all of our pastors and leaders, some of them female, all of our pastors and leaders made a clear decision. I and my family, we will remain and minister and serve.
Pero todos nuestros pastores y hermanos han tomado la firme decisión de no moverse, de quedarse ahí.
Some of the members have gone as refugees into other countries, Poland, Moldavia, Romania, Hungary.
Algunos de los miembros están en Moldavia, Rumania.
As of today, over 1 million of their population have gone to other nations for safety.
Hoy, alrededor de 1 millón ya han abandonado el país.
In our church, only a few families, most of them have not been able to reach the borders. The borders have 2 and 3 day waits.
Las fronteras para poder salir tienen que esperar hasta 2 o 3 días para poder abandonar el país.
We've had reports of mothers and children being dropped off 10, 12 kilometers away from the border by their father, by the husband, and then they had to walk the rest in the cold.
Tenemos reportes de que a veces los niños se dejan a 10 o 15 kilómetros de la frontera y a partir de ahí ellos tienen que caminar a pie en la nieve, en el frío.
Because the lines with the vehicles go 12 kilometers sometimes.
Porque las filas llegan a 12 y 15 kilómetros.
They stand under imminent attack at every minute.
Y ellos están bajo un ataque inminente. Bishop Endecott,
yeah.
Bishop Endecott, what can we do? That's what the calls. You're getting some calls. I'm getting some different calls.
Okay.
My calls are, what can we do to help the Church of God of Prophecy in Ukraine right now?
Number one.
La pregunta que yo recibo es, ¿qué podemos nosotros hacer por nuestros hermanos de Ucrania?
Number one is your prayers.
Número uno, la oración.
We believe that there is a fight far greater than those between soldiers. There is something spiritual amiss today, and we need the power and direction of the Holy Spirit.
Creemos que hay una batalla mucho más por encima de aquella batalla que podemos ver con nuestros ojos. Es una batalla espiritual.
We are praying for the peace of the Son and the love of the Father.
Queremos orar por la paz del Padre y el amor del Hijo.
For the Holy Spirit, for wisdom, but also for power and strength.
Por el amor por el Espíritu Santo que nos dé sabiduría.
So please put your churches together, call them to times of prayer and fasting on the behalf of Ukraine.
Sus iglesias y oren y ayunen por los hermanos.
I spoke to the pastors 2 days ago. We meet every few days. We'll be meeting again in a few moments. And they said, Brother Clayton, number one, we love the prayers of the saints.
Y determinamos que la necesidad número uno es la oración.
It's incredibly important to them, and they are so encouraged to be part of this praying body.
Es increíblemente importante que oremos.
So please pray. Number two.
Por favor, ore. Número dos.
We know that there will be some great needs. There already are.
Sabemos que habrá gran necesidad, ya la hay.
We see those needs in 3 points.
Vemos esas necesidades en 3 puntos.
And all of them have somewhat to do with finances.
Y todas tienen que ver con finanzas.
One of the needs is direct and immediate help in the war zone itself.
Una de ellas es ayuda directa al lugar de la guerra.
There are places that no longer have enough supplies. The small stores are out of products, only the big stores in the larger cities. And so we're having to make purchases and drive from town to town to help the brethren.
Ya las personas no pueden encontrar los artículos de primera necesidad en los supermercados.
There's no social structure to help a war, so there's no welfare or help. Most of them live day to day with pocket money they receive from work. They are not able to work at this moment.
No hay una estructura social. La mayoría de ellos viven de lo que se ganan en el día.
There's no cash. They're completely out of cash at all of the ATMs and banks. They live only by their bank cards and credit cards.
No hay dinero en efectivo. Ya no hay cajero automático.
But we thank God our national account is in very good shape. We have an international tithing fund that had a little over $7,000 in the last 2 years on their very poor income. They've been contributing to international ties, and that money was already built there.
Pero tenemos dinero de diezmos que los hermanos han sido fieles aún dentro de su estrechez. Son fieles y han depositado dinero y ese dinero está disponible.
And with the immediate agreement and love of our international offices, that money was set free for their immediate use.
Y ese dinero, gracias a la gentileza de la Oficina Internacional, ha sido puesto a la disposición de los hermanos.
And our accounts are in very good shape and very easy to access with excellent accounting and companies that help us with that. So we can send money to them immediately and they can distribute to the churches. The money would then be spent out by cards.
Así que tenemos la manera ahora mismo de hacer llegar el dinero a donde más se necesite.
The second area of needs are those embracing the immigrants who are fleeing the country.
La segunda es recibir a los inmigrantes que estarán llegando desde Ucrania.
Families with children, many pastors who take in orphans with their own families are trying to make their way to the borders. There's no transportation. They have to pay extra fees and extra people to get there.
Las familias que estarán saliendo como refugiados, muchos de los pastores nuestros están criando niños que son huérfanos y los están tratando de llevar a las fronteras.
It is not corruption. Nobody's asking for extra money, but they have to pay for the fuel to get the people to the borders and so on.
Lo que se necesita mayormente ahora mismo es el combustible para poder llevar a la gente a las fronteras.
Many have fled to bunkers, city subways, and so on, and have very few provisions. They took nothing with them.
Muchos están en búnkers, otros no tienen que comer, no hay provisión.
Hygiene, food, warmth. It's very cold there right now.
Producto de higiene personal, comida y todos los artículos de primera necesidad.
So the number one need is those there in the country that are suffering. We're trying to help as many as we can.
La necesidad número uno son para aquellos que están allí en el campo de batalla.
Obviously, we are serving our brothers first with great love, but we are reaching out to our communities as well.
Obviamente estamos sirviendo primero a los hermanos de la iglesia, pero también queremos servir a la comunidad.
If you'd have been in the conversation, you would be overwhelmed with the love of the pastors who are saying, this is our moment to share the love of God with the people of our country.
Si ustedes estuvieran en las conversaciones que yo estoy, pudieran escuchar a los pastores decir cómo están compartiendo el amor de Dios con la comunidad.
They tell me they are not committed to times of great fear and panic, but of love and calling in ministry. We're grateful for wonderful leaders there.
Nos dicen que ellos no se están llevando por el espíritu de temor o de miedo, sino de amor por los que están alrededor de ellos.
The second need are those churches who are already engaged in helping the refugees.
Las otras es ayudar a las iglesias que están ayudando a los refugiados.
There are 5 countries that are immediate and easy access for Ukrainians, and those countries have opened their doors to immigrants.
Hay 5 países que han abierto sus puertas para los ucranianos.
Many of them have been closed to immigrants over the years, but now for Ukraine, immediately, without question, they're setting up systems to bring them in as fast as they can.
Muchos de ellos han estado cerrados anteriormente a la inmigración, pero hoy han abierto sus fronteras.
But the countries are overwhelmed as this happened suddenly. They do not have enough provisions for the refugees.
Los países mismos que están recibiendo inmigrantes no tienen la capacidad de ayudarlos.
Many have no place to live. They have no provisions. They have no warm clothing, no food.
No hay el lugar adecuado, no hay ropa, no hay comida.
Their countries are helping where they come in, but so many fall in the gaps.
Los países están abiertos, pero las necesidades continúan.
For those refugees, we're also trying to work with other churches. This is too big for us, and institutions like GAIN to help provide for places for them to stay.
A veces la magnitud, el tamaño de la necesidad es mucho más grande de lo que nosotros podemos hacer. Hay entidades como GAIN, un socio en la misión, que nos está ayudando.
This is our only way to house them. They're not in houses and apartments, but again, they're going into large shelters.
La única manera, por ahora posible, es enviarlos a refugios comunes, porque
And
no
then
hay
over time, they will be assigned places, but again, several will fall in the gaps.
A veces se enviarán a algunos hogares, pero la mayoría se van a caer por los huecos de la sociedad.
So our church is along the border and then all the way through Poland into Czech Republic, Germany, all the way to England, Cyprus. We're saying our churches are open. We will take those into our homes and into our churches and care for them.
Nuestras iglesias en Europa lo que están haciendo, aún en Chipre, en Inglaterra, en todos los demás países, es decir, nuestras iglesias están abiertas, los tomaremos aún en nuestros hogares.
It has created, as we're giving out bowls of rice and blankets, a great opportunity to preach and tell of the love of Jesus, and they're doing
Esto
so.
también ha creado una gran oportunidad para mostrar el amor de Cristo a la comunidad. Brother Clayton, let me tell you that we are here to help, and you'll be hearing from Central America.
Wow, it's great.
And our churches with more than prayer. We are praying.
Thank you.
But you know that we love to help We love to be part of what God is doing, and this opens the door for us to show the love of Christ in tangible ways, in ways that the people need. And we have another guest. We have another topic that we want to do. We want to bless you, and please tell the saints in Ukraine that you're going to meet with in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Tell them that in Latin America and in North America, all over the world, I mean, in stadiums, soccer players, football players, boxers, artists, celebrities, everyone has been touched by this. And the Church of God of Prophecy in Latin America is not an exception. We are with you. We're praying. We love you. Ilallah.
Bishop Felix, we thank God very much for the Latin churches. They're such a blessing to the Church of God of Prophecy, and we're so grateful to all of you. We are your
hermano feliz, agradecemos todo lo que Latinoamérica, la Iglesia de Dios de la Profecía hace por nosotros.
It's a long process. The third point I just mentioned quickly, we'll have to rebuild when things are settled.
El tercer punto es un largo proceso de reconstrucción.
Thank you again for your precious time. Thank you for your love for the church around the world. We love you very much. We feel your love. We are comforted.
Gracias por su amor. Sentimos su amor y les amamos.